Hey, shalom, 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 Christ. Give me 1 minute, 1 second. Yes, let me see something here. Trying to see the best way to view this. I've done it better than this before. Can't remember how I did it. Remember how I did it, but shalom, y'all better check out. I thought to our brothers, shalom, shalom, and I thought about sharing side to our sisters. Today is the Friday Hebrew Craft, the LASHAWAN QADASH. I'm here in Arizona. Police officer 50 Arizona holding me down. So before I get started fully, you see the name of the class is Nations in Hebrew. So I just got to put part one. There will be a part two for some more nations in Hebrew. All right. One second as I make sure we share like these classes. We're doing the same thing on my end as well. Share. All right. Okay. So that'll work. Okay, there. That'll work right there. So today is the LASHAWAN QADASH, right? Which you see in the Hebrew characters right here. Remember, so if you don't know, Hebrew is written from right to left. So LASHAWAN, LASHAWAN, QADASH. All right. So if you don't know, for the Hebrew characters, this is La, this is Shah. I think I can see the mouse, right? Okay, see, I can't see the mouse. Sorry. This is Shah, Na. Okay, those are backwards. It's locking. The Y and the Na backwards. I don't know how that happened, but it should be Y should be with the Na should be. It should be flipped. All right. And then you got this little mark right here. This is the connector. It means you combine these characters to make give a different sound. This is how you get La, Sha, Wan. Right. Remember the Y and Na would be backwards. You got Qua, Dash. This is Qua, Da, and Sha. And the Da and the Sha together with the connector give you Dash. It's the Kodash. So Lashawan means tongue. Kodash means holy. Holy means separate. It's the holy tongues, what our language is called. That's the name. This is the name of nations in Hebrew, right? So we're going to be going over what the Bible calls these names. So sis, I'll be viewing in so often to see what everybody's. You got questions? I'm afraid to ask them. All right, do my best to make sure that they get answered. See that over there. All right, so let's get started. Until I said that. So coming up first, right? We have Israel. The first thing we got up is Israel, right? This is what we know it as today. This is the English pronunciation of Yashar Allah, right? Yashar Allah. The English is what we call it Israel. This is how you would say Yash. This is how you would spell Yashar Allah in the Hebrew, right? Just the Paleo Hebrew. Those that don't know. All right, so we got the Yah, Shah, Ra, Ah, and La. In this one, you're going to combine the Shah and the Ra. That's how you get Shar. Yah, Shar, Allah. All right, with the so you know Shar, right, is the root word in this. All right, because Hebrew consists of Hebrew names only consist of 2 to 3 characters. Then you have added on. Then we have added on something like a preposition or a possessive adjective. Sometimes you just add another word on for when it comes down to names, right? So Yashar Allah, right, is what it means. Yashar Allah means Prince of the Power. All right, Prince of the Power. Right. Allah means Allah is what you call the word God, right? Power, God, messenger, angel. They all come from this word Allah. All right. We have the Yah. Yah normally in this situation it means for trying to remember it, drawing the blank. But Yah representing the Most High, who knows Yahweh, right? So Yah, Sha'Allah, Shar being prince. So prince of the power is what the name Yashar Allah means. So if you are an Israelite, you are a prince of the power, because you're a woman, you say princess of the power. All right, so I don't know. To say princess instead of prince would be Shara, which would be that Shar. You add the at the end. So you say you take off the la and the la here. You just take this right here. This will be princess, right? If you wanted to, just in case you wanted to know how you say princess in the Hebrew. It's shown right here. Shara, right? Is princess. But that's not this context. And this word is Shar Allah. Yashar Allah. And Yashar Allah today is who we call the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, these are the people that are representing of Israel, who are the children, the descendants of these people. If you don't know, right, Israel name used to be Jacob, right? That's what his name used to be. Let me see. Let me add a little bit onto this class so that way I can see when these names come into effect. There's like a website that's supposed to pop up. Oh my God. This has to work. Okay, I'm trying to find this online Bible app to show everybody, but I'm not finding the one that I want. I need that. It's two different versions. It's like I just want to be able to show everybody where these verses can be found. I think it's the one that I want. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So Genesis 35, right? Where we have Jacob's name, right? So Jacob's the son of Isaac, right? So Jacob's name gets changed to Israel. This is where that happens. This is where we become the tribe of Israel, right? This is from the man Jacob. Genesis 35, verse 10. And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. So this is a thing that the Most High does uh, fairly often, right? He will you always get a name change, right? The Lord will see fit to give you a different name, right? Something that's more akin to what who you are or what you would go to do, right? So this is a very natural thing that happens in Israel quite a bit is getting the name change. Why it's such a why such an honorable thing in the school to get that new name. All right, and saying there's not a. I've met people who's like since I've been in school to work with somebody who felt like uh, even though she said she knew about Israelite culture and things like that, and because she changed the name, she felt like her name was good enough already. You know, in my opinion, saying good, saying whatever you think your name is, how good you think it is never better than what the Most High thinks your name should be. Right, so never downplay the Most High giving you a new name. It's a good thing to get. In some cases, we'll see with the next people, might not. It's a not so good thing. All right. So next up, we have Edom. All right. So Edom is so say Edom in the Hebrew. So if you don't know everything that's in Hebrew is highlighted. Their names is highlighted in blue. So Adawam is Edom in the Hebrew. All right. Well, I know I like to say that the Edomites uh, passed away some time ago. Like there's no more Edomites on the planet, which is just it's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie. That's not true at all. The Edomites are still on this planet, right? They're still here. There are pressure. The so-called white man, the so-called Caucasian. Edom, Adawam means red. Red also means wasted away, right? What that means. So this is I, this is Da, the Wa, this is the Ma. You just connect it right there. When you connect these two characters together, you get Wam, right? Wam. All right, so you see right here, Wam. I'm gonna say the I, the Da. You see these characters? You can see to the full character. Then you're gonna combine these two, I, Da, Wam. All right. So Edom. So also look it up real quickly. It said you'll see like the name change for Edom. His name was first Esau. His name Esau because he came out red like a hairy garment. Right? His a hairy garment is what his name means. He was red like a hairy garment that they used back then. And again, his name changed when he decided he didn't want to keep his he want to keep his heritage because he came back faint. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get that real quick. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it on here. It was like the 19th. Okay, the 25th chapter is what I'm trying to get to. All right, so all right, switching over. Okay, so we have right here the brothers. Like I said, it's where they talk. It's where you hear about them. They're twins, right? So you see, talks about Esau, right? The first came out like in hairy garment. They called his name Esau, right? That's why they called him his name. That's what his name means. A hairy garment, right? We'll scroll down some more. This how you know who Esau is based off who he is and what he does as a people, right? Because the Bible said these would be two different manner of people, all right? Jacob and Esau. Right? And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Okay, that's maybe know that. They're saying like if you know what a score is, the score means 20. So Isaac was 30 years old, 60 years old when Jacob and Esau were born. All right, the boys grew. Verse 27, the boys grew. Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So this is what these characteristics, these people's characteristics would carry on with them throughout their generations, right? Knowing that Esau is a very cunning hunter, but Jacob was a plain man. He's like the man. I mean, like the chill. He don't do all the outrageous stuff. But Esau, he's known for hunting. The white man is known for his hunting skills, right? All right, so let's get down to why his name was changed from Esau to Edom. Right, verse 29. And Jacob saw the pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. He was very tired, coming back from day or whatever he was doing. He was out in the wilds. And Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. All right. So if you don't know that red pottage is like it's lentils and it's meat, but the meat wasn't fully cooked. The meat was still bloody, it was still red. It was like Jacob just started cooking it. Esau came back from where he was at. He was very hungry, very tired, very like as I said, like dramatic. Our suppressors is very dramatic people. You know what I'm saying? They over exaggerate a lot of things. And because he wanted to eat that red pottage, right, that wasn't done cooking, that's how he got the name Edom. All right. For those who don't think that think that the Edomites are gone, because that's what a lot of do here in the Christian church, right? They will say how the Edomites are gone, or that there's no more Edomites in the world. They've already went extinct. That's not true. We look in the book of Ezekiel, 35th chapter. We go to it. Okay. So this mouse is very sensitive lately. Okay, boom. So we go to Ezekiel, look at the 35th chapter. To the all right, so boom. All right, so here we go. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, in all Idumea. But you don't know, Mount Seir is where Edom went to dwell, all right, for his home. So that's where he went to take up residence as Mount Seir. So anytime you see Mount Seir, it's talking about the Edomites. Now you get over here, which is the interesting part, right? In all Idumea, even all of it, they should know that I am the Lord. Who is Idumea, right? Idumea. Who's that? We're about to show y'all. One second to try to get up over here. This mouse pad is it's crazy sensitive today, Ali. Okay, so give me what it means. It's not showing. Give me what I need though. All right, so Idumea is just the Roman word for Edom. All right, uh, just to kind of give it to you without, what I'm saying, getting too much into it, right? So, what now? What's going on with that? That's weird. So you see Idumea, right? Idumea is what the ancient word for the Romans call themselves, where they descend from. Idumea is the Roman word for Edom. So Edomites are the Romans who are your today are your so-called Caucasian people, right? Are oppressors. They're still around today, right? They've not went anywhere. All right, we'll continue. All right, next up is Moab. Showing up there. So Moab, right? Moab is Mawa'aba. You see there's no connectors here today on this one. I'm going to say each of the characters full syllable out. Mawa'aba. All right? Mawa'aba. It's the name of Moab. You kind of say it's of the father. Some churches say mother and the father, right? If you don't know, uh, Moab, right, and Ammon are cousins, technically. When I say the father and the mother, right? They say Ama wa Abba, right? And so you put an I right here. It's I ma wa Abba. So say so Ama is mother in Hebrew. Wa Abba, right? So depending on the usage of the word, right? Wa typically means and or of. Ma means of. Wa for word typically means and, right? So that's why there's be an ah right here, it'd be ah mawa abu, but at some point we just became mawa abu. As I think the reason how it's go. Right now we just say it's mawa abu. I don't know Abba is father in the Hebrew. Abraham, right? Abraham is where you get his name from. Abba is father. Okay, so this is it's literally saying that Moab was made through incest, right? Today, they're who we call the Chinese today, right? The Chinese, these are those of Taiwan, Korean. I think Korean might be ethnic. Uh, over there in that part of Asia, right? So Moab, right? These are the characters: the Ma, the Wa, the Ah, and the Ba. Remember, right to left is how you would say and read these characters. Right. I'll give you the Bible verse in a second, but we're going to scroll down real quick to Ammon. So Ammon, right? Ammon is I Mawan in the Hebrew, right? So I Ma Wan. The Wa, the Na, Wan. So I Mawan. His name is, I'll show you two right now. Literally means born of incest, born of one of the daughters of Lot sleeping with him. So we don't know the story, right? How we get here. Moab and Ammon, right, are both the children, both the sons of Lot's daughters. Lot had two daughters. They thought that this is when the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and they went to a cave, and they thought that they're the only people left on the earth, and that they would have no husband, and they didn't want their father wanted to die out. And so they get their father drunk, right, with the wine, get him drunk. And the oldest daughter sleeps with him. Then she convinces her young sister to do the same thing, get him drunk again, sleeps with them. They both end up pregnant. All right. And then they bear his son. So, just to know, the so-called Japanese are who we call the Ammonites, right? The Ammonites of old. So that's the Japanese. Like here, Genesis. To chapter 19. All right, so here you go. So this is Book of Genesis, the 19th chapter, verse 31. Right, this is where we'll show you how the name or the tribe of Moab and Ammon comes from. The Book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 31. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. So they're thinking that the whole earth was destroyed. Like they're thinking like, there's nobody else around that will give, that they will be married, be able to marry. They think everybody is dead. That's what they're thinking. All right, this is what the younger is saying to what the older is saying to the younger one. Come, verse 32. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Right, so that's what they're doing. They're getting their father drunk. That's the plan, to get their father drunk and sleep with him, so that way they can give him children. Verse 33. And they made their father drunk with wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. So he was so drunk he didn't realize that she came in, had sex with him, and that she got up and left. Right? He was that drunk. All right. Verse 34. It came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesterday with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So once again, now she's done it. She's pushing her young sister to do it too. Say, hey, I did it. If you do it too, so that way we can, our father will have us to line will continue. Verse 35. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. Verse 37. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab, the same as the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bears a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So Ben-Ami, right, before he became Ammon, Ben-Ami means born of incest. That's what she named her. That's what she named her child. The name was eventually changed to Ammon. Right, I said name changes happen a lot in the Bible for people. Right, it's not that out of the place where you get a different name at some point in your life. But she later named her child born of incest, right? Which is crazy when you think about it. All right. Next up, we have Ishmael. All right. Yeshai my Allah. Right. Yeshai my Allah. It's kind of just rolled together for me, kind of connects all of that together, and I'm not even trying to. So Yah, right? Shah, Ma, I, Allah. Yah, Shah, Mai, Allah. That's how he gets his name. His name means God has heard my affliction. For those you don't know, Ishmael is one of the sons of Abraham, right? He's the son of Abraham that Abraham had with the his son that he had with the Egyptian woman, right? He's eventually put out. Okay, so let me go back a couple of chapters. Like, as I get the okay, not. One second, one second. All right, so it's the book of Genesis, all right, chapter 16, verse 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. All right. So you're not gonna get all that in the actual name, right? You're not gonna see all that there, right? We don't know. Shammai is the Hebrew for hear or for to listen, right? So you see, right here, right, where it says, "Because the Lord hath heard my affliction." You're not going to see affliction there in the word, but heard is where you get Shammai from. All right. So no, that's what Shammai means. Shammai means to listen or heard. Where you get it, that's where you get that name from. So Yah, Shah, Mai, Allah, right? Again, Allah means power, right, or God, or Lord. So or God, have hear or heard. Yeah, you put that there for power. What's that? Right, so that's what you get. Heard my affliction. Because you're not gonna put in the whole thing for affliction. That's a whole another word in and of itself. But this is the reason why he had the name that he has. That's how we come up with a lot of the Hebrew names that we have today. All right. So going to the next one. Next we have Elam, right? Elam in the Hebrew is Ayalam, right? Ayalam. So you have I, the Yah, and the Lam, right? La and Ma. You get to the connector and connect these together and get Lam. So Ayalam means hidden, right? People are hidden. And so they or distance. Also it can mean very far off away. And these people at one point did become very far off people. You know what I'm saying? It's the so-called East Indians. That's what we call the East Indians. That's who they were. The Elamites. Because at one point they go to a spot where they're kind of just far off from everybody for a while. They kind of just become like an isolationist country. All right. So Elam is one of the sons of Hashem. Those that don't know. All right. Next up is Japhet, right? So Japhet next one we got up. All right. And Japhet in Hebrew is Yapath. All right, Yapath. So Yah, this is the Pa, this is the Tha, right? So Pa and Tha give you Path, Yapath. All right. You see the connection, make sure you connect those words together. That name means expansion, to expand, to make bigger. That's what his name means. It's the so-called Pacific Islanders, or who we call the Polynesians today. That's who it is for the for the for the Japhites, right? And so the thing about Japhet, right? When it comes to Japhet, you don't hear a lot in the Bible really speaking on in terms of Japhet as a people, right? Japhet will kind of be like second class citizens. I don't want to say that, but you don't hear us having a lot of conflict in the Bible with Japhet. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's some here and there, but overall, you know what I'm saying? Japhet, we don't have really a lot of conflict with them. And Japhet were the people that at first had originally uh, inhabited Europe before they were chased out by the so-called Caucasians, right? And they eventually ended up where they call the Pacific Islands, right? That's where they end up over time. You know, that's like your like Cambodians, Hawaiians, Eskimos, uh, not Vietnamese. I don't think Vietnamese will fall into that category. I have to look it up. Think about your Cambodians, your Filipinos, people like them. When you call Japhet, your Samoans, right? These are people that we call your Polynesians today. Right, next up is Ham. It's Ham, right? And we say Ham in Hebrew would be become, right? That's just a that really guttural ka sound, right? You got the ma connector, you get come, right? Come. And come is a very interesting word, right? Come means what we call the so-called Africans, right? So this when it comes to Africans, is when you're gonna see some African tribes come up here in a second, but they're going to encompass all of the Africans. All right. So every African that tribe you see, they're all Hamites, right? They all come from when they call come. Come, that means hot in the Hebrew. All right. And what I find interesting is as I was watching uh, Officer Hobbs class, and he brought up how you know this is where they get the word for Kemet from. How you couldn't decipher, what I'm saying, the meta nature, what they call it, right? The meta nature without the Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Since they were around at the same time, so you find writing in both the meta nature and the Hebrew. And at the time, the meta nature was a dead language. You know what I'm saying? It was a dead language. You had to figure out how to bring back these Egyptian words again. Get the Rosetta Stone, right, to help you figure it out. And all that helps you is, the Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get it. In this car, right? That's how they would just change that where you can pronounce it in the English. That's why we have these spelled in the English for you to help you see these characters, right? And how to pronounce them, how to give them the sound, how to pronounce them, how to say them. Is why we have this. So come, right? Is this you'll see sometimes this may be spelled as in Kim, right? So you get the Chemetics, right? The Kemet. Because this would be Khem, right? For Kim. For the Kemites, right? Kemites were the people. So I get that's why they know what the word the Kemites, the Chemetics. All come from this. Remember, Ham. If you don't know, Hebrew is a very, very, very old and ancient language. All right, it predates all of your languages that you have today. Like, if you ever heard the hooked on phonics, right? So you don't know where hooked on phonics come from. Hooked on phonics come from the Phoenicians, right? A lot of your characters that we have today for the English alphabet comes from the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians got their characters from the Paleo Hebrew, right? That's where all that comes from. Let's just find out that Hebrew predates the character sets of Phoenicia. It is what it is. That's what's been found out. That's where you get all your characters from, where all these things come from. You got people, scholars of old trying to give the best way to pronounce these characters, right? And this is just the way that was deemed helpful, right? So that you know that you see this character, right? Just the ka, right? This is the ma, right? So you have come, right? You put them together. So next up is Mizrayim, right? In Hebrew is Matazarium, right? The Ma, the Tazah, Ra. There should be a connector here too. I forgot that part, but there should be a connector also for here. And Yam, right? So pretend there's a connector right there. Right? Be Ma, Tazar, right? We got the Tazah and the Zar together. Then I have Yam, right? Matazarium, right? It's what we call a place of bondage. And they're the so-called Egyptians, right? That's what the Bible refers to the land of Egypt as the house of bondage. Right, it's where we were literally slaves there. All right, that's what that shows. All right, so next up is Canaan, right? So you have Canaan now, and also Canaan in Hebrew is Kanaim. Okay, Kanaim, so you pronounce it in Hebrew. It's the Ka, Na, I, Na. Ka, Na. I'm gonna say these together. I'm gonna say these not together. It's like let's say the full character sound, right? The Ka, the Na. You get to right here, the I and the Na becomes Ein. Kana Ein. All right. This is the I is the only vowel in the Hebrew. The Hebrew, other than itself, is made up of consonants. So think about everything you said. Ka, na. Right? This is ka, this is na. It's not to be confused with ka. It's just ka. It's more of a lower ka, not like a ka as with ka, right? This is just ka. Ka na ein, right? All your words in Hebrew, beside all your characters beside this one, is all consonants. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ya. You know what I'm saying? It's all to the all sounds until you get to I. I is the only vowel that is in the ancient, that's in the Hebrew. You got some that you look in the more modern Hebrew, they kind of trying to throw some vowels in there. But the scholars that have looked at and have gone back and read and researched the ancient Hebrew have all come out and said that the ancient Hebrew is consistent of consonants. And we're going back to our roots, our heritage. This is how we would speak. This is how we pronounce these words. This is how this is taking back your heritage, right? Learning this language. So Kana'ain means humble. They're the so-called South African. You're wondering how that can be? No, remember, people move. People don't stay in one place. You know what I'm saying? Other people that's in South Africa that's dealing with the Edomites down there right now in South Africa, and the whole apartheid, and that's ended, and the whole so much going on down there right now in South Africa. They're dealing with the Moabites, the Chinese, who are trying to come in and take over, because what I'm saying, they know that area down there is very rich in minerals and things like that you need to build things, right? The diamonds is in abundance in Africa, so you get your lithium and things like that. Like Africa, the resources in Africa is so much and so plentiful, man, that our oppressor and other heathens have taken to go and pretty much scam and oppress the Hamites. Not that I care, because the Hamites sold us to our oppressors. So now they're getting done dirty. Oh well. You know what I'm saying? They should have made sure they came up with a better deal on top, so they end up on top, and not where they at right now. That's on them. But that is what it is. But what I'm saying, you can still, even though this is Canaan, right? Canaan, these are still Hamites at the end of the day. All right, like I said, the last few ones will be all tribes that are the Hamitic tribes, right? But these are just the more prominent of the tribes, right? That come out of Ham. So you see Mizraim, you got Canaan, right? Next up is Cush, which is Kawash. That's Kawash, right? It's the so-called Ethiopians. And Kawash isn't a Hebrew word, which is weird. There's some studies still being done to figure out where that came from. It probably come from the ancient Ethiopians, more like where we got the name from. But this is one of the things where there's not certain words for certain languages that are translated properly into Hebrew, right? Or we don't have a Hebrew word for it. But there's no Hebrew word for chocolate. Besides, it was made up recently because there's no chocolate being grown in that area of the world, right? Same thing for purple. The purple that we have right now in Hebrew is not a Hebrew word. If you look at the English language, like each language has a way they just take words from different cultures, because you don't have a word for that particular thing in your vocabulary or in your culture's vocabulary, right? For instance, sushi. Sushi is Japanese. There is no English word for sushi. There isn't. Sushi is not a thing over here in America. So what do you call it? We just call it where it came from, sushi. So when they're looking up people having sushi dinners over here, they're thinking about, hey, sushi is not an English word. Neither is champagne. Champagne is a French word, not an English word. So sometimes, these words, different words, just end up, being used because we don't have that language. The language might not have the equivalent of that word in their language. And that's just how all languages are. That's just how It just is what it is when it comes to that. All right, so you have Cush, one the son of Ham, and Put, which would be Pawat. Since again, it's the Libyans, but this word isn't Hebrew. All right, got the Pa, the Wa, and the Ta, so I get Pawat. This is Kawash, right? The Wa, the Sham, so I get Kawash. So yeah, man, this is only part one for the nations. All right, going over these nations, getting the names of Hebrew. There's more nations to cover. We'll be doing that next week. You know what I'm saying? Lord allow. We'll be going over the rest of the nations in Hebrew. These nations will be the big. All the nations are named, the nations that are still around today. These people are still here. They've gone nowhere. They might have a lot of descendants now, right? But they're still here, kicking in and about. The only ones that won't be around no time soon will be the Edomites, right? Because Moses said they have to go extinct for all the crimes and sins they've committed on this earth and what they've done to us, his children. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, man. So I was going over, the tribes, the nations in Hebrew. Those that don't know, I'll make sure I have it up on next week's slideshow. That Gawaya, or you say just people to say will say going, is what you say for the word nations. Nation in the Hebrew just means race. That's what that means. That race of people. All right. So you're being called a heathen. You're being called someone of a different nation. That's how you're acting. All right. You don't want to, as an Israelite, you don't want to call a goyim or a Gentile. Right. Gentile just goes back to goyim, just means nation. Being an Israelite, being called, a goyim or a gawaya, means you're acting like a different people. You're not acting of your people. You don't want to be called, a gawaya if you're an Israelite. All right, like I said, we'll pick it up again next week. What we got for today? Remember, pay your tithes. If you want to know where we're located at, we're at 12416 North 28th Drive, right across the street from the Quick Trip. Make sure you come to class, get in class. If you can't come in physically, it's always online to view. Yeah, man, get in it. Like the Lord said, He's going to bring us back a pure language. That's in the book of Zephaniah. In fact, let me read that before we go, right? That is like one of my favorite passages, especially for teaching this class. Okay, so Zechariah. One second. Okay, yeah. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. Right? So what we're talking about right here, this Hebrew that we're learning, this is the pure language that the Most High is returning back to us. Remember, the kingdom comes not from observation, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't just sit on our hands and fingers, twiddling our thumbs, waiting for Christ to come back. We got to put the work in now. Everything that you learn your heritage, you got to get your inheritance back. You have to learn all of that now. Don't wait until then, put the work in now. Put your brick in. Join the school. Pay your tithes. That's in. Start helping out your people. All right. And so with that, remember tomorrow is the cyber service from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're in the Phoenix area or it's in the surrounding area, come get down with us. We will be having cyber service at 11 a.m. tomorrow. As you know, classes we have every Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Cyber service 11 to 1. So come in, get in class, and yeah, man, start learning about your heritage. With that, shalom.